Greetings, my people. It's Mr. PDT yet again on another episode of the Enlightenment series. New and shocking information reaching me. It's saying the building that caught fire at Mercy City, at Jeremiah Omoto's shrine, it happens to be the building which is not only for partners meeting, but it also happened to be the building that has storage backup for all the CCTV surveillances at Mercy City. Do you see where this is going? But this information is not going to be brought to the public. This information is meant to be submitted to court for the case that Jeremiah Omoto has against Sister Ruth Matthew. Because the court proceedings are getting to that point where the need for CCTV footage is going to arise. Because it does not make sense for Jeremiah Omoto for fame to claim to be innocent if he has not provided the contents of that CCTV footage, which has information from 2019 on the 15th of April 2019. So could this be a cover-up? To think that he might think this case of a fire outbreak can exonerate him or can give him a leeway not to be held answerable to this case of a missing CCTV footage that has been concealed since 4 years ago. So do you think it's a coincidence? Do you think it's a coincidence? And the other reason why they burned that building, and if they say that it is the same building that contains the backup storage for all the surveillance cameras at Mercy City, then this means they do not even have an idea as to what could have caused the fire. So they're not going to explain to anyone as to what happened, what caused the fire. How lame can a group of people be to that point that they can go that extra mile to suffocate and to sabotage the justice of a little man, of a little boy? Is this how corrupted Nigerian pastors have become? To a point that they can literally burn their own buildings just so that they can water down the case of a missing child. I told you earlier that the police commissioners in Wari that are prosecuting Ruth Matthew for defaming Jeremiah Omoto's character, they do not have evidence to prove that Ruth Matthew is falsely accusing Jeremiah Omoto for fame. Because for the police commissioner to lay charges against Sister Ruth Matthew, charges of defamation of Jeremiah Omoto's character, or charges of falsely accusing Jeremiah Omoto for fame, they must have done some sort of an investigation. And in that investigation report, there should be evidence that points out to Sister Ruth Matthew as a liar, as falsely accusing Jeremiah Omoto for fame and Mercy City of being responsible for the abduction of her child. But in the report that the commissioners in Wari have, did I say in the report? There is no report of that nature. That report doesn't exist. The question that then comes, or that everyone should be asking, is how did they now come to that verdict that Ruth Matthew is lying? How did they reach that conclusion that Ruth Matthew is falsely accusing Jeremiah Omoto for fame? And for the past 12 months that this case has been in court, the police has not provided a single shred of evidence to prove that Ruth Matthew is lying about her child having been kidnapped from Mercy City. They have not. What they've merely done is to bring their so-called witnesses. And it's these witnesses that are testifying that Ruth Matthew falsely accused us of having stolen her son, of which Ruth Matthew never alleged or never said any of the witnesses that have been brought to court so far stole her son. She never said that. These are just trumped up charges to frustrate Ruth Matthew so that she does not see this as a worth pursuit to find her child. Nigeria has let us down. The law enforcement in Nigeria has let Sister Ruth Matthew down. Not just Sister Ruth Matthew, but they have let baby testimony down. This case could have been concluded some months ago. But when it was about to be concluded, the minister called Ebega, an APC minister, ambassador or some sort, who was campaigning to become an ambassador, he planned with some of Jeremiah Omoto's boys to go and burn the courthouse that had the documents and the papers that could have made this case come to an end. Because the case that is in court right now is the case of the commissioner of police prosecuting Ruth Matthew of having lied or of having defamed Jeremiah Omoto's character. When they realized that they had run out of witnesses, then they did what they did. And the case had to be moved to another courthouse under a different judge so that it can be restarted again. And all this is to financially, strain Sister Ruth Matthew and everyone that is supporting Sister Ruth Matthew. But I think I told this to Omoto for Fane's camp. I don't think we look like the caliber that can give up on Sister Ruth Matthew, or that can give up on the pursuit of justice for baby testimony. I know one day justice is going to be served, and one day it might even be sooner than they anticipate. Jeremiah Omoto for Fane will be behind bars for all the atrocities that he has caused to humankind, to vulnerable Nigerians. It's not only the case of baby testimony. There are so many other young women. Comfort died giving birth to Jeremiah Omoto's son. And he has been threatening Comfort, harassing Comfort. Proof and evidence of all that is there. All these atrocities will not go unpunished. And a time is coming, like I said, where Jeremiah Omoto for Fane has to answer for all his crimes and atrocities to humankind. This fire was not a coincidence, my people. Jeremiah Omoto knows how heavy this case of baby testimony is, and he's pulling all the strings to try to make sure that it goes away. But it can never go away. It is not going away until baby testimony has been freed. You can burn your churches. You can burn your buildings. You can say you have destroyed all the evidence. But Jeremiah Omoto for Fane, that will not stop anyone. That will not stop us. We'll keep coming until you release baby testimony. We know you have a copy of that CCTV footage somewhere in your safe or wherever. We know you do. And the reason why you don't want to release it is because it implicates you. It is going to expose the entire syndicate. The biggest mistake that you did was to take Sister Ruth Matthew to court because she asked for a CCTV footage. But here's the irony. You take her to court because you do not want to release the CCTV footage. Guess what? There's a time in the very same court when you will have to provide that CCTV footage to prove that you are innocent. Otherwise, you remain guilty until you have been proven to be innocent. The last time baby testimony was seen was at your shrine in Mercy City. You have a case to answer, my brother. You're not getting out of this. The only thing you could have done was to release the CCTV footage or to release the baby boy. That's all you had to do. You had made up your mind. Back in April, you gave a prophecy on the 27th of April that what if this missing boy comes out? What are you going to do? You said it at your own accord. What if this missing baby comes out? What are you going to do? You should have released that boy that time. By now, most people could have forgotten about it. But the people that advised you, they ill advised you. Look at where you are now. You're at the stage of burning your own building just to destroy evidence, just so that you don't get questioned about the CCTV footage. The child was stolen and abducted from your premises. If you had nothing to do with this, you could have done so many things to help Sister Ruth Matthew find baby testimony. But your silence and your brutality towards Sister Ruth Matthew because of this case is enough proof that your hands are dirty. It's enough proof that you might be the mastermind of this entire syndicate. But we all know that Jeremiah is just the gateman. Jeremiah Omoto is just the front. There are big dogs behind Jeremiah Omoto for fame. He answers to some big boys. Everything that you think Jeremiah Omoto has does not belong to him. The private jet that you think Jeremiah Omoto owns does not belong to him. That entire Mercy City that he brags in front of does not belong to him. It's a syndicate. He has no say in anything that goes down in that shrine. He's just a front man. But then he's the one in the frying pan. We will fry him so well until he does the right thing. With that being said, I'll check you out on the next episode of the Enlightenment series. It's Mr. PDT. I'm out.